morning, dear hearts. We are now on lesson 258. Please subscribe. We are in the second of our Let Me Remember lessons. There's two more to go in this section. And we are completing, in a couple of days now, our fourth relevant thought of what is sin. Relevant thoughts, special thoughts, central thought. Today's lesson is, let me remember that my goal is God. Now, I said, well, that sounds familiar because 2 days ago we had God is the only goal I have today. And then yesterday was, let me remember what my purpose is. My purpose is to remember God. I only have one goal, one destination, one journey that I really need to take, and really only one thing to remember, and that is for me to remember God. And that indeed I am a part, we are a part of Him. We are a part of that source. That is the source that birthed us. That is the source that gave us life. So let me remember that my goal is God. It's the only goal I have today. It's my destination. And that in remembering that, I also do remember then indeed what my purpose is, because my purpose is to remember God and to bring everyone with me in that remembrance. So the lesson begins with the more text-like portion, as they have been lately. And all that is needful is to train our minds to overlook all little senseless aims and to remember that our goal is God. Our minds at the beginning of the lessons, I'm not going to say the year because not everyone starts on January 1st. Your first lesson can be any day of our calendar year as we determine the days of the year. Just one of the little bits of separation. It's always now. But whenever the first day of the first lesson was for you, the workbook told us that, this is a course in training our mind, and that in the beginning of this course, and specifically the lessons, that our minds were completely untrained. And as I have said in one of my Janetisms, is that an untrained mind is not sustainable. It cannot be sustained in untrained mind. Why? Well, an untrained mind is wild. It can be savage. It's not responsible. It's reckless. All characteristics truly of the ego. My untrained mind is under the direction of my ego mind, and that is completely untrained and cannot focus on what is real or what is true, and does not even know how to understand and uncover what is real and what is true. So back to the lesson, it says to remember our goal is God. His memory is hidden in our minds, obscured but by our pointless little goals, which offer nothing and do not exist. In truth, they do not exist. Our pointless little goals. These are all the little things that the ego has given us and trying to keep us occupied, trying to keep us engaged, trying to keep us from the realization that none of this means anything and none of this is going to produce anything that we want, which is our endless perfect peace, the peace of God. Everything I want is in the peace of God. So going back for the moment to the relevant thought, what is sin? In paragraph 4, it says, and yet what sin perceives is but a childish game. The Son of God may play. He has become a body, prey to evil, at the whim of evil, and to guilt, with but a little life that ends in death. Those are little aims. Those are little goals. Those are little things that we use to occupy ourselves. But all the while that all of this is going, that I am, at the mercy of evil, the ego, but all the while my Father, our Father, shines on us and loves us with everlasting love, which those pretenses cannot change at all. Those are the little goals that I need to relieve myself of so that I may remember that indeed my goal is God. All of those veils that I have thrown over myself, my mind, the ego has done this for us, the veils of forgetfulness and the dark clouds, as they've been described as well, that surround us. But we can easily push clouds away, as we have already learned. They're just wisps of air. We can blow them away so that we can uncover what is real and what is true. Shall we continue to allow God's grace to shine in unawareness while the toys and trinkets of the world are sought instead? God's grace is given to us, that state of everything He wants us to have. It's the state of being, and it is our true state because that is who we are. We are spirit, and spirit is in a state of grace forever. God is in a state of grace forever, and we are part of God. So shall we continue to allow God's grace, everything He is offering for us, to shine in unawareness while the toys and the trinkets, the little things that are going to fade away and never produce the happiness or any of the things that we believe we want in this world, all of those vain imaginings that we run after only to find that they indeed are smoke and mirrors and they disappear? The toys and trinkets of the world are sought instead, okay, to shine in unawareness while we're looking for love in all the wrong places. That's being sought instead. God is our only goal, our only love. We have no aim but to remember Him. Let me remember my goal is God. God is the only goal I have today. Let me remember, as lesson 256 told us, that, if we hadn't had all of these sinful ideas, if the ego, what the ego offers, wasn't cherished by our mind, we wouldn't have to find our way back to where we already are. We are already home. And who would remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of whom God created sinless? Those heavy clouds, the veils, the walls even that we have placed around us, we can release them today. We can let them fall away when we simply remember that our goal is God. The second part of the lesson is the prayer, and it says, our goal is but to follow in the way that leads to you. And I'm going to read that now, substituting journey for goal. Our journey is but to follow in the way that leads to you. We have no goal but this. We have no destination but this. What could we want to remember but to remember you? We want to remember you, God. Remember our goal is God. Remember our Father is God. What could we seek but our identity with a big I? Again, that existential question, who am I? We are the sinless, guiltless, perfect children of God. And just, this idea to allow God's grace to shine. Shall we continue to allow God's grace to shine in unawareness? We had a lovely lesson, the first part of the workbook, that by grace I live, by grace I am released. I live by God's grace, and I am released by God's grace. So I will not allow His grace to shine in unawareness. I want to remember my goal is God, and I want to remember that today. That's it for today. I hope it helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment. Please have a moment of remembering today. Pray for that, for the awareness. That's all. And it will be given for everyone, the entire sonship. Namaste.